Hello everyone and welcome to this video where we're going to be taking a look at my two old RVs or motorhomes and updating them accordingly. Now, as you may know, I released the latest of my creations, the Rat Task 2, which is right here. We do have the Rat Task 4 over here, 4-person, and what you will know if you're familiar with my creations is that these two campers actually have side-by-side vehicles in the back. So as you can see here, when we open the gate down, clearly there's something going on here, so that's, oh, we gotta unlock it. So I will be updating these creations accordingly. So here is the side-by-side, my original one, in the back of the motorhome, and then we have this same side-by-side here in the back of this massive fifth wheel trailer. Now I know to unlock the door. There we go. So clearly you can see that the side-by-side lives in the back of this unit here, but one thing to keep in mind is that this side-by-side, while very useful and versatile and kind of well handling and all that good stuff, it has a fundamental problem, that is that it is not symmetrical. You can see here we have the two rope anchors and the wheels coming out, but it's not symmetrical. So when I park it in here, it's actually sort of leaning on the right side of the fifth wheel, and accordingly on the right side of the truck here, the motorhome. So you can see how there's a space here, not a space here. Now it works, but there is a flaw. The flaw being when you go to drive this thing, it actually sort of phantom physics turns. You can see it turning right now to the right, and as we get some speed, I'm not pressing A or D, I'm just holding W, and look at that. That is not ideal. Not ideal at all. Now, in addition to that, there are some other things that I think I can clean up or work on in these units, but what I really do like is that they are just nice spaces. They make me feel like I'm camping. I have kind of a fireplace, a little kitchenette. This thing has beds up here with lights, so you could see that there is some attempt at style, and this is a toy hauler. But look at that, we're actually spinning. If you look on the outside, this thing is spinning. Is it caused by the phantom physics from this side-by-side? Or is it caused by something else? Well, we're going to find out. Now, if we take a quick look at my other unit that is right here, it has no side-by-side in the back. It's not a toy hauler. All it is a trailer. So if we open up those, lock them, you can see that we got ourselves a little kitchen here. Actually a very nice kitchen with a counter, TV area, beds over here, and if we go over here, we got our master bedroom. So lots of good use in this, and actually this one is updated. So this one's updated, but if we go to my Airgull, you can see my own internal tracking. R1 means released, so this doesn't even have that. This is the old style GTC Siege, and then even older we have the Waipara, and I do have some work in progress creations that were never released, so maybe we get them depending on what you guys comment here if you like these type of recreational vehicles in the game. I know they don't serve as much of a functional purpose, but it is nice to kind of explore the lands in something that is comfortable and cozy. Alright, so we've removed the old side-by-side creating a decent little garage space in the back of this, actually. And of course, these things here, we'll see if we want to adjust them. But right now, this is the old style connectors. So I can go ahead and remove them because we're not going to be using that. In fact, what we're going to be using is the floor-based R10. So if we spawn in our task, and for this, let's see if we put the larger one, meaning the 4-person one, if it fits. Alright, of course width-wise it'll fit, it's the length that I'm interested in. Alright, it actually just fits. It is the same length as the other side by side. Now it's clashing with the stairs, but if we lift it up one, it seems to be perfect. And that is actually what we need to do anyways, because over here, I actually have to place an electric connector right there. So that electric connector will connect and plug in, hold, in essence, this side by side in place. Now there is no other connector on the bottom because it's too short, so unfortunately you will be at the mercy of this little thing kind of flopping around. So what may be useful actually is potentially a Airgull unit on the bottom to keep it secured and locked in place. So with the two of these, we should actually be able to keep it without moving around too much. Now, over here, we have the release button, disconnect side-by-side connector. It's a little too wordy. I like to have kind of more short titles. So, disconnect vehicle, a recreational vehicle, but whatever, disconnect vehicle is fine. So when you press that, it will disconnect this, but also it'll disconnect this, so it's gonna be not that. Albeit the mag is a little different because the magnet, I don't want it to be on the same thing. You sometimes want to have the vehicle be able to attach itself before securing it. So I call this like a securing strap almost. So what we can do is add another button over here of the same type, same color. It's easier just to copy paste. And I will call this, well, first of all, let's see. So disconnect vehicle, over here's the garage door, unlock garage door, which honestly, I probably should have just had it happen automatically. The only thing I'm going to keep as a regular button are the lights. Everything else is going to be adjusted. So what you can have a toggle button for both the system to disconnect vehicle. So we can actually make that probably a flip switch. So disconnect vehicle R10 connector. And then another one will be secure the thing with Airgull. So that's fine. That can actually be a toggle button. And then we'll need the arrow button to the right and an arrow button to the left, or down and up. So I'll have to see kind of how it tends to work from a ergonomic point of view. So you can see the door closes automatically. It should lock in place. And in here, if we sit in the unit, so first things first, we could press this, the door opens. Alright, now you can see I let go of this and it actually closes all the way, so clearly we're adjusting the factors too quickly. One thing to keep in mind for those beginners watching this is when you use a counter, the speed at which the value changes in the counter may not match the speed of the pivot. For example, if I hold open and let go, it's still going. It's still going, it's still going. If I press this, let go, look at that, it's still moving up. Meaning, the number in the actual counter is going too fast and not keeping up with the value of the pivot itself. I did a little bit of playing around and got it to work. It was using a value of 0.035. Now, there are some other things we have to adjust. Primarily this microcontroller is set for a outdated version of my trailer system before I made it compatible with SIBTaT and all that stuff. So this whole microcontroller doesn't really work. Well, it works, it does have backward compatibility, but not in a very functional way. So we're going to take this and open up my HGS controller for the trailer. You can see it's much bigger, and now I have to reconnect some things potentially just because of the configuration. So handbrake, deploy leg button, electric motor, so that is not the right one, rather it should be the pivot. Running lights, so in this case we get these fun running lights that we get to turn on. Previously, the second your trailer is connected, the running lights turn on, which doesn't really look realistic. They're just kind of always running, whereas now you have your running lights on when your vehicle is on, so it's much nicer. And reverse light, I don't have a reverse light here, so that is it. One thing I also spotted here is I'm using two different pivots. That should be much better now. So you can see the running lights are not on, but when we go to our tow vehicle, and first let's actually remove that. Okay, go to our tow vehicle, turn it on. Now maybe the tow vehicle is not equipped with the latest in the HGS system. So that is actually something else that I may have to update. Yup. Just a little bit of reconfiguration, but there we go. Now we actually have an updated Buckel Stampede that is compatible with the new HGS systems. We can make our way into the trailer unit, disconnect and turn on and open up all of our slides. Get cozy in here. You can see that the space is much smaller, but we have a garage bay. Now if we press this, the door opens, and if we unlock this and this, we can hop into this guy. Alright, now I have to make sure that I can park it back in, because right now it looks like that door isn't opening all the way. But if I hold that, okay, yeah, it does. So I now drive my thing around, have fun, and I want to park it back in, so we can go up the ramp. Beautiful. And now see, in this case we will actually turn on the that, because I want to be able to connect my vehicle, and that connects, and then I can do that. My Airgull should connect it, and we can close the door up, and off we go. So that is for the toy hauler trailer. It seems to work very nicely with the new rat task. And as for the unintended consequences or whatever, we have an outdated engine ECU for the Stampede. So if I find my latest one, it should be like number 8.1. And what this actually adds is a speed limiter, because people were getting their speeds up to, like, you know, crazy things, 200, 300 kilometers an hour, because yes, the thing is powerful, but we don't need it to be that powerful. So I put a speed limiter, put the fan on the ignition, and let's take a look at what other things may have suffered. And now it's all updated. So the truck has the updated display here, which actually shows fuel instead of gas. And not just that, we've fixed up the percent fuel, so you can see that's working properly now. All the lights work, everything works. So there we have it. These two will be updated after this video. So I did go ahead and upload the new truck and the new or newly updated truck and the newly updated trailer. So that is actually live even before the video is complete. And now we have ourselves this thing with a decent amount of space back here. But one thing that I might actually do, just because we're blessed to have a nice small rat task, is actually I might want to shorten this thing up a little bit. It is nice to have the length, but at the same time I do think that it would benefit from having a bit of a smaller profile in terms of just drivability and stuff. So it does seem to be possible because this thing is much smaller, so we actually could like shorten it by 2. I did take the old, or the one we just worked on. I'm gonna drag over this whole button sequence just because I don't want to redo it. And now that it's here, we can just take the microcontroller as well. I believe it's down here. Put on the roof for now and attach all the things. So first things first, the out signal, of course, the electric power to the whole thing. And then one by one, we got our rotation, we got the lock, then we have the Airgull, which we don't have yet, and we have the unlock connector there. I'm going to put the Airgull right there. And it just lets you kind of secure your load. Makes it a little bit easier to drive it around. It doesn't end up flailing around. So that can go to there. Alright. With that all done, let's see about the length. So I said it can be shortened by 2. And one thing before I do that even is, now that I have this truck here in front of me, so I can actually update this as well to give the new HGS SIBTaT microcontroller, since we're already here. And the nice thing about that is if you want to tow a boat or a trailer or something else, you can end up doing that. So it just gives you much more flexibility in compatibility with the rest of my creations. Key input is there. Perfect. So I just have to find a new spot for it because it's a little bit bigger. And let's take a look at the ECU. Wow, that one is very outdated. My goodness. ECU 7. My worry of changing this at this point is that the new ECU will actually have will be missing nodes, and I may need to manually arrange some stuff. See, it added the battery, which the other one didn't have, which means it also lost some things. Speed sensor is there. Interesting. Starter motor should be the same. Throttle fuel, that's the same. Throttle on off. So like I said, you just need to, or like if you do stuff like that, you have to find out what are the side effects. So fan, I know, is one of them, and the drive clutch right here needs to be attached to a constant number. Now I'm just telling you guys my process. If you're bored, then for sure I have other videos that may interest you, but I'm just telling you kind of how I go about my business when I update a new creation or update an old creation, and check for compatibility. So I did just throw in an old version right here because I want to see what on earth I removed. Between the new and old microcontroller, things moved, got adjusted, all that stuff. And if something is no longer attached, well, I gotta know about it. So in the new one, we had the RPS, no, we had the battery, where we previously didn't have the battery, which is right here. So it was the modular engine clutch, so we're good. I put the constant number, and then the other one was the fan on off. So I think we actually should be okay between the new, and of course I will fire it up for a test drive, and if we find that things are not working, well, in that case we'll adjust. So I put that there for the fuel. Does this thing have the same 1600 as the other Buckel Stampede? Actually, funny enough, both were Buckel Stampedes, and both of them got a nice update. So there we go, and they should both have 1600 fuel. So then the last thing is bringing in the HGS trailer hitch. So right now it's not in the most logical space. Since this creation also, we got the new dually wheels, and I actually want to use that here. I think that'll be quite cool, but we just have some space issues, so more juggling of microcontrollers. So in that case, that one there has to be moved. Not a big deal. For now, I'm just gonna take them out entirely, and then we'll see where I put them back in, but that will allow a very nice sort of wide stanced look, as well as the other benefits that having dual wheels bring. So there we go. With that juggling, I got everything to fit. Now, one thing that I actually have to take a look at in the engine bay is, does this creation have the gas valve release? Because a lot of things were adjusted with the space update, with the compressed gases, etc., etc. So you can see here, actually we have a hole in this tank, but this tank actually needs to have a pressure release valve. Now this isn't even our main gas tank, this is just the gas tank for the side-by-side, but regardless, it has to have a gas relief valve. I have a ton of videos talking about this. That's one thing, but the actual engine fuel as well, and I don't think it does. So we can quite simply and easily add another one there. I mean, I could piggyback off the same one, but for simplicity, I could just make it two different ones. And here we have to have this system to be a pipe. Funny enough, actually, I previously had these kind of filled pipes, but I can get more fuel capacity if I use these ones, so may as well use the non-filled pipes. So I can do this, and then I have my little gas relief valve. Without it, your engine will stall out. So there we have it. That thing's labeled fuel, and that should be it. Oh, I have to shove this somewhere. And not just that, I need to shorten the length of the whole thing. So where can I put that? This is kind of the juggling aspect that I talk about sometimes. You just have to learn your creations and kind of where to put things and whatnot, but once you figure it out, you can end up quite confidently adding more and more and more. The best example is my like small K trucks, and then I developed something even smaller because I thought the K truck was so compact, and then I ended up making my little Buckel small kind of Suzuki style SUV. Okay, I'm gonna be banking on this being a regular block, and it is. So we can put that right in there, and that is that. Now I do want to shorten the whole thing, and I can just chop it right through here. Now hopefully there's nothing vital in the bottom. Oh, I could have put all the microcontrollers there. So that is shortening it by 1, and you can see the door is there. Now the window is the only thing that gets affected if I go one more, but I could put the window there, and I can, oh, well I can, but I need to adjust the roof, which, as long as we didn't have any lights there, which I don't think we did, so I can take this roof, move it to the back there, and then I need to move the rest of the back of this thing into the back of the truck. And with doing that, actually this one deletes, or this one gets deleted as well, just like that. Yeah, so then this just gets slid into here as such, with the window. Just make sure I have everything. Okay, we'll take it, put it in there, and voila. Just a little bit shorter. Now it's a dually as well, which is nice. And we can double check that the task fits. So we'll take the small one, like I said. Of course, that's the whole point of shortening it, was to fit the small one in. And it should still be able to close. Alright. Perfect. Now, am I getting physics jitters? Seems okay. Hopefully it does not have phantom physics now. Let's find out. Alrighty. It seems that we're going straight, folks. It is not turning like it was last time, so that's really good. Of course, you do have a whole other vehicle in the back, and this thing has full suspension, so keep that in mind as you kind of go about your driving business. But if we're in here, we should be able to lower the door. Perfect. Now I'm going to get rid of the rest of the buttons, but we can do that. We can unlock this thing, turn it on, and drive out. Now that is a very, very steep ramp. Whoops. Oh, we just connected to the trailer of the thing. Alright. Release. But there we are. So, it's out. Can we get it back in? Oh, alright. A little funky looking. I probably wouldn't put full suspension on this if I was doing it again, just to make it a little more realistic. But since it already has the full suspension, I'm not going to bother removing it and adjusting it. I think I'll just leave it as it is. So the garage bay lights are the only one that stays. Put that right there. And the rest can go to be replaced with the instrument panel. Perfect. There you have it. So, thank you all for watching. I'm going to clean this up and make these creations go live. Let me know if you're interested in more Airgull style vehicles and campers and whatnot. But this was a fun little project, just now that I have such a nice side-by-side or RTV. So it kind of fueled this and made some little updates to old creations. So thank you for watching. Let me know if this is something you're interested in. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments. Thank you so much to my supporters. They're the ones who are the Discord server boosters and the YouTube members. They get early access to releases and they show me additional support and loving, and for that I reward them with new creations that are unreleased, early release videos, and stuff like that. So if you're interested, take a look at that. But even if you're not a supporter, I still really do appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who comments, the whole community, everybody in my Discord server, and just the game developers as well, because really without them we wouldn't have something to talk about. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, happy Stormworksing everyone.